Join us as we speak with Alan Gatti of Zorzettig Vinis about the Riesling wine which we'll be reviewing with him on this call.
So I was talking to Lewis because in my book we've got the light body whites and the medium body whites, and what I find is particularly women, but I'm going to throw myself in there. I really enjoy a good Riesling and a good Sauvignon Blanc, and then he told me, "Oh, you have to try these Italian ones," which kind of surprised me.
Awesome.
That's not where we typically think to get these two types of wines, which is kind of what started this conversation and led to us having this. So why don't you share with us, how does this Italian, close to Slovenian border Friuli winery become, very prominent with both Riesling and Sauvignon Blanc, which both are very different?
So Riesling, of course, is a classic native varietals from Germany. And since we were dominated from the Austrian-Hungarian kingdom, we find the first traces of Riesling in Friuli, since we were part of the southern kingdom from Austria and Hungary in the late 18th century. And of course, we developed our own style about Riesling, which tend to be less aggressive in the taste, about the stony and smoky notes, leaving much more space to the floral and fruity notes.
Conducted because of the soil, correct?
Yeah, even about the classic DNA of the varietal of Riesling mixed with the soils. Yeah, definitely here we have much more space to develop our own clones of Riesling that tend to be more floral and more fruity.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then so for people who aren't used to drinking Riesling, a lot of people think, oh, I don't like them, they're too sweet. Mm-hmm. And that's because they're thinking of the very sweet style of German, which is nothing like this. This is a very dry, acidic
It's a very dry, acidic. So in terms of style, it's maybe more closer to the French Alsace style of Riesling, because actually the Riesling is very dry. That's about 2 grams per liter. If you count on the average classic traditional German Riesling, it's about 25, 30 grams. So more than 10 times.
That's a big difference.
Oh, right. And
coming from the sparkling world, 2-3 grams is noticeable. Pretty much. However, here, something that I always like to look mostly on the whites, the acidity, which I'm guessing comes obviously when we talked about soil, that's where you get that acidity mineral sense on it. And that brings a good balance. So in my personally, my taste, in your Riesling, I don't get that, which is good to me. I'm saying something positive about it. The impact of the residual sugar is not that noticeable to me on the tongue.
Yeah, so it ends up being floral.
More
you
floral,
smell the fruity, but not taste the sweet.
Not taste the sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely because, as you say, it's very well balanced between so the residual sugar, which is noticeable between 2 and 2.5 gram per liter, very well balanced with a nice acidity and also with a nice saltiness. So our wines in Friuli tend to be very fresh, so rich in acidity, but also rich in the minerality, so in a kind of saltiness. This comes definitely from the soils, but also from the benefits of the southern winds from the Adriatic Sea. So we're here in a very special, unique microclimate, because we recognize as a subalpine climate, but we're only 15 miles from the Adriatic Sea. So we reach the benefits of the alpine subclimate, but also the benefits of a kind of Mediterranean climate.
What is the altitude where you are?
We're about 250 meters.
900.
About 900 feet, right? Okay.
900. That's about 900 feet, right?
Similar to the Spanish Rías Baixas.
Baixas,
they have the salt breezes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
it's in some ways it's the same situation between behind the mountains and very close to the sea.
Okay, right.
Well,
Excellent. Well,
I'm ready.
Do we taste her?
Yeah.
And the bottle here. Guys, you want to taste it? Okay.
Aprovechen si quieres.
See?
No, but it's got a nice lemon.
Yeah, even from far away.
Yeah, you can. That is very nice.
So about the Riesling, we have almost 2 hectares, which is almost 6 acres of total surface. It's a south-southeast sun exposure. And as introduced, the soils is the so-called ponca, which is a typical sandstone stratification of marl created in the Eocenic era. And of course, this gives to the wines on the average an extra sapidity and an extra minerality.
Yeah, well, you
Well,
have
absolutely,
the saltiness, the minerality is there, but
Definitely
the
there.
fruit. This is my, and I was really surprised when I was asking you for a Riesling that you told me, oh, I have an Italian one, and I'm thinking, where did that come from? But
Right.
this has got an Alsace sort of.
And I had,
Feel
had,
to
had
it.
only tasted once, and I really talking about it. I didn't remember actually, Alan. From the first time that I tasted the Riesling to this time right now, which has been maybe a couple months or a month or so, it's a new experience. Okay, this is very interesting. Something to really think about it, because in order to express it well, you need to drink a lot more than just one glass.
Yeah, and just, you know, I'm a red wine drinker turned white wine drinker.
Okay, good.
My wife is not a red wine fan. And, you know, there's something about having a wife that likes white wine that kind of converts you fairly quickly.
That's right. I agree.
Oh, Annie would love this.
So the nose is definitely impactful. So you feel the wine in the nose, definitely. You feel this kind of a chestnut floor, this nice touch of flint, well paired with a peach fruit note and some white flowers as well. Nice sapidity in the mouth. The aftertaste is very clean and delicate.
Yeah, very
And long lasting. Very
it
long
does
lasting.
last. Yeah.
Very long lasting. So it's funny how the sweet part, if you will, you know, it doesn't come after the whole food taste is, and then you start noticing the little sugar part on the tip of the tongue. So
Yeah, and that's very interesting because it's a sapid mineral, full of character, but at the same time, very easy to drink, very gentle.
Yes, this would be great with a shrimp scampi, anything lemon sauce.
now, Alan, what do you typically pair this in the region, in your region? What do you pair this?
So that will be definitely a nice pairing with spaghetti with grancevola, which is a kind of wild lobster from the Adriatic northern part of the sea, with some arugula and pine nuts. So a little bit more tasty.
A better taste, right? Yeah, something that we need to think about is also when we translate that into our region, the food that we eat here, although we eat every Italian food that you can think of, I'm sure it's different. So we try to think about what do we recommend this wine with the weather, the temperature in this region.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of salad components into the
That's right.
Astronomy
Yeah,
here.
also to actually compare with something could be with lobster salad or lobster rolls.
This would, with the piccata, this would almost go to, because it's got the caper bitterness.